Hey guys, Jobin here. Gonna do a little tutorial or demonstration on how to reassemble a axis lock folding knife. Because, well, they're a little more complicated inside than a liner lock or a frame lock, and a lot of people might be curious as to what's in there, or if they ever need to take theirs apart, how to get it back together. So that's what we're gonna do. Just go through parts rundown. Obviously, you've got your blade, your scales. Note the milled out portions here for the mechanism. Liners. Here's the axis lock button. And over here are the two springs that push it forward. Stop pin. Standoffs. Over here's the bushings it came with, but since I've got it apart, I'm going to replace them with phosphor bronze. Here's the pivot and the screws that go into each side. And up here we've got all the little screws for the standoffs and the stop pin. So what we're going to start with is putting the liners together first. It's actually pretty tight tolerances here. They kind of snap into place. Okay, just couldn't get the right leverage to do that on camera. That was actually kind of tough. Let's see if we can get the other side on now. I did not expect this to be the hard part. Hold on. Okay, there we go. Now, the part that makes this kind of tricky is this button here. Because it's shouldered and has a part that has to go between the liners and the scales. And that is what that bigger cutout there is for. It's for getting it through. So, gonna do, don't know why I took it out again. Hope that's in focus. The sun just came out and I'm having trouble seeing the screen on my camera. Okay. Grab one of the little springs, and there is a difference between them. They're mirror images of each other. Take the hook end and put it around the button, and then take the end with a little bend on it and slip it into that tiny little hole. Do the same for the reverse side. Hook the button into that tiny hole. Make sure they're settled down like that. Now at this point, gonna want to get one of your scales, put it on. And what I said about that milled out section, that's to accommodate that spring there. Set it on there and screw it in. Don't have to tighten it down all the way. In fact, it might be better if you don't. Just don't want it coming apart in your hands again. And once it's down like this, you've got one of the springs fully enclosed and the button kind of trapped in there. And all the standoffs on screwed into one side at least. Okay. Now, let's get our new bushings. Take the pivot. It's shouldered so it can't spin once it's in there. Now the sort of tricky part is getting everything centered to get the pivot through. And this does give me trouble sometimes. And it's kind of hard to see how everything is lined up around the camera. Might have to end up pulling this off camera for a sec to finish it. Oh, there we go. Okay, pivot's through. And on this particular knife, the holes that are drilled for the pivot in the G10, it can't actually slip through, so it's bottomed out at that point. And here now I can give you sort of demo. See the axis lock working. Alright, and let's put the other scale on. Yeah, I can finish tightening that up later, but let's put the pivot screws on. Just move this along. Now with knives like this that have a standoff in the middle, like these here, a little issue I'm running into right now is the fact that I'm trying to screw in the sides, and this standoff down here, instead of holding steady, it's spinning with the screws, so they're not going in. These knives come Loctited from the factory, so if you have trouble with that, what you're probably going to have to do is take one off, Loctite it, and screw that one down. That'll give you enough resistance, hopefully, that you'll be able to just screw the other side into that. Because, you know, if one screw and the standoff are fastened together, you should be able to get good friction there. Which is probably what I'm going to have to do for this one here. Let's see about tweaking the pivot tension. Not quite sure where we're going to be at here. Not even sure if these washers are the right size. A little stiff. That seems good. Alright guys, take it easy. Remember where your knife is. Actually, I just remembered something. Forget what I said about trying to Loctite one side. That might be a little tricky. The way easier thing is if you have 2 Torx bits, the right size. So what you do is you lock one down and tighten the other. No problem.